Hey, it's Blake, Whitetail Assessment. Next up on the keys to success list is Topo, reading topo maps. So I don't have enough time to dig off into this. So I'm going to keep this very generalized for the people who want to critique me, knock yourself out. But on a topo map, there's lines, a whole bunch of lines. The closer the lines are together, the steeper the change in elevation. Depending on your perspective, you could be in a creek bottom and looking at your map and be like, hey, I want to go over here. Well, look at your topo map. If the lines in between you and where you're trying to get are super close together and you're in a creek bottom, that means you're fixing to encounter a really, really steep bluff. If you're on a high spot and you're like, hey, I want to get down into that bottom, and the lines between you and where you're trying to get are super, super close, that means that you're fixing to find yourself having to navigate like a really steep drop off. So, depending on where your deer are, if you've done your research, you may want to navigate those lines carefully. But I say again, this is super, super generic. It's meant to be like an introduction to give you a starting point. Most of these lines somewhere on those maps will have numbers. Depending on where you're at, those numbers may be real high, they may be real small. But anyway, just find those numbers and they'll give you like an elevation. So the higher numbers, that's feet above sea level. And so you'll know that the higher numbers are your high point, and then you can work your way down or start at your creek bottoms and say, hey, it's 540, and know that on top of that hill over there is 1100. That's a pretty solid transition. You should avoid that bluff. But anyway, dig into it, read. Anyway, topo maps, super critical. There's all kinds of stuff out there, and deer have a tendency to travel the upper 1/3 line. That's a survival skill where they are trying to not cast a silhouette. Like I said, this is way more complicated than I have time to go over. So dig into topography. That's super important for you to learn. Thanks.